Hi there, it's Jen from modernmedicinelady.com and the Empathic Woman System, and the word of the day is contentment. And I'm choosing this word because I am just at the end of day one of a women's business retreat that my dear friend Britt Bolnick is running from In Arms Coaching. And one of the things we were talking about today was the idea of how we define our own success and what it means to be successful. And that got me really thinking about the arbitrariness of numbers, and particularly like the idea of when I hit 6 figures, then I'm going to be happy. When I hit XYZ, I'm going to be happy. And I was thinking about how a number like that is not nearly as important as what it is that we want to do with that number and why we want to be earning that money and what the purpose is and how we can achieve the things that are part of our big why, like what really matters to us. And so, for example, Britt, who is an avid pit bull rescuer, looks at success as the ability to have money to help other pit bulls. And her big dream right now, one of them, is to be able to have the resources to be able to rescue 50 pit bulls and to be able to create space for them, to be able to accommodate the needs of that many dogs. And you know, that's a really clear why. And when we have a sense of what it is that's motivating us to make the money, then I think it's much easier for us to actually move forward. But I also think it gives us a much clearer sense of what our definition of success is, as opposed to this random goal of I'm going to hit 6 figures or I'm going to hit 7 figures. And what I realized was that in a lot of ways, 6 figures, or 7 figures is really similar to a number on a scale. And, in the same way that so often I know I have had these times in my life, especially when I was younger, where I'd have a goal weight, I'd set the goal, I would be sure that was what I wanted to be achieving, and I'd get there, and then it was kind of like, is that all there is to hitting this goal weight? Now what? And I would still be as anxious and as concerned and as completely distracted by my appearance and by my weight. And I would have the same feelings about my body regardless of what the number was. And what I realized is that whether it's money or weight, the number doesn't matter. I mean, yes, if you are so broke that you are not able to cover your basic expenses, then yes, that number matters. And please, I am not saying that. And in that particular case, that makes a big difference. But when it comes to the idea of some kind of random goal, in my experience, the thing is, if you're not happy to begin with, and if you're not feeling gratitude and not focusing on what is bringing pleasure and what is bringing contentment already, then achieving that number is not the answer. It's not the way that contentment happens. And in the world of the law of attraction and in the world of metaphysics, the bottom line is that we magnify and amplify what we consider, what we think about, what we imagine, what we focus on. And so when we focus on the sense of someday I'm going to have this and that will allow me to be content, that will allow me to be happy, but I don't have it now, what we are reinforcing is a sense of lack and a sense of not being there yet. Whereas when we focus on what we are already achieving and focus on our sense of gratitude and appreciation for the small things that we are managing to achieve and accomplish and do every single day, and set aside some time for pleasure and set aside some time for just sheer appreciation of life, then I really believe that that allows us to expand into more and more abundance in a way that anticipating that someday this is going to happen just doesn't. And so I've really been thinking about how much contentment is not a number. Contentment is not a specific, when I reach this, then I'm going to be there. because that's so much more about the when I get there than it is about how can I feel this way right now? How can I cultivate this feeling for myself? How can I focus on gratitude? How can I focus on appreciation? And how can I carve out some time and space for delight, for pleasure, for appreciation, for love, for enjoyment today? And I sincerely believe that when we focus on this in the moment, then all of the other stuff has the opportunity to manifest, to spiral into our lives, and that it gets to expand as we continue to focus on the things that are working as opposed to what is not happening yet. So my question to you is, where might you be discontent? Where might you be focusing on the someday my prince will come, someday I'm going to weigh the right number, someday I'm going to have the right car, someday I'm going to have the right number in my bank account, instead of feeling gratitude for what is in the day, in the moment? Is there any place in your life where you're thinking about what you don't have as opposed to looking at what you already have? And in that question, how can you increase your appreciation for what you already have today? How can you acknowledge what is already going on? And how can you cultivate a sense of contentment for what is as you continue to move towards your vision for success?